Hello, and welcome to the Widescope Demo. Widescope is an online, interactive tool to build a consensus for budgets. Users can use Widescope to see line item appropriations for budgets, create their own proposals for budgets, as well as vote on other users' proposals. As it exists, Widescope contains federal and state budget data. However, it can be easily expanded to include both local and custom data as desired. Let's go ahead and use the federal 2012 to 2021 budget as an example of how users interact with the website. I'm going to go ahead from the main landing page, click on Check out the federal budget, followed by Walk through some suggestions. In the Budgets view, I can now see a breakdown of both revenue and expenses for the federal budget. In particular, I can see the line item appropriations for each aspect of the budget. By hovering my mouse over each line item, I can see a tooltip describing exactly what that line item describes. And by clicking on this line item, I can see a list of proposals which would change the allocation for that line item. So for example, selecting individual income tax rates, I can see proposals for raising the tax on capital gains and raising the top 3 ordinary tax rates by 1 percentage point. If I want to select one of the proposals to use in my budget, I would go ahead and click the selector box and then click Done. As you can see, our budget, which started out on the order of 10 trillion, has already been reduced by 0.8%, which is actually quite a sizable amount. In addition to changing the revenue, I can also change the expenses. By clicking on the National Defense category, I can see a flyout with all the proposal options for changing the allocations to the National Defense category. So let's say I want to reduce the Department of Defense allocations across the board. I will select here and then click Done. As we can see, this is actually creating a pretty sizable change to the deficit. Finally, suppose that having viewed the options for Social Security, including the options that have been user-generated, which are provided by other users, I decide that none of them is exactly what I want to implement. So I decide to enter my own proposal. Suppose that I've already done some research and I found the Congressional Budget Office website, which has a particular report about Social Security and about the budget in general. So I've seen from this report that raising the earliest eligibility age for Social Security by 2 months per year would decrease our expenditures to Social Security by something on the order of $143 billion. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and use that as my proposal. And I'm going to enter that as my amount. And as a justification, I'm going to go ahead and copy my title text. Users can also write their own justification, which is going to be maybe a expository paragraph. In addition, Widescope asks that users provide a reference URL so that other users can verify whether or not this proposal is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL, and I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and click Done, and as you can see, my proposal has been implemented. So now I have something on the order of a minus 11% budget change for 2012 to 2021. So my budget is finished. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my budget, and now I can see my proposals listed in the right-hand window. In particular, I can see how many other users have also selected one of these proposals. Scrolling down to the bottom, I can see a listing of the most popular budgets, and by clicking Compare, I can compare my own budget to one of the more popular budgets. In particular, right now we're comparing with the Past Prosperities budget, which is a think tank on the federal deficit, and their proposal. As we can scroll down through here, we can see that actually they have made a number of different cuts in many different areas, which are much more drastic than mine. So as a result, their decrease in the deficit is much more. So I can compare my budget to theirs, and if I decide that I like my budget better than theirs, I can also click Like. So this concludes the demo of the basic functionality of Widescope. And in general, users can view budgets, they can create their own budget proposals, and they can modify the proposals of others. Thank you for your time.